Okay, so we will start with the essentials of cybersecurity today. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, are you all able to see this screen presentation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so essentials of cybersecurity is what are the tools, techniques, components, all these things which are essential to the cybersecurity. You can say it as a skill or as a profession, both. Okay, so cybersecurity personnel are also well skilled, you can say, or you can say they are the artist. Cybersecurity professional must have the same skills as the cyber attackers, but cybersecurity professionals must work within the bounds of the local, national, and international law. So there are different techniques to uh, attack, or in fact, the way in which anyone can harm to your data or your network. So cyber security professionals, which actually works in protecting all these things, must have the same skill as the cyber attackers. Cyber attackers also have all these skills, means they can easily hack, or uh, they can look into your network and may harm your private data. So, but there is a difference that cybersecurity personnel must work within the bounds of local, national, and international law. There are certain laws which these professionals follow, whereas the criminals, or we can say attackers, do not follow all these laws. They simply try to benefit themselves and their organization. Uh, Obviously, it will. We cannot call it an organization, but it will be uh, a word of, or you can say underworld of all these uh, persons. So, cybersecurity professional must also use their skills ethically. So, cybersecurity personnels, whatever skills they have, they must use that ethically. Online identity. If we talk about your or our online identity, then our well, there are two types of identity. One is the online, and another is the offline identity. So, offline identity is one which you how do you live in a society, in a country, and how do your friends, your colleagues think about you, how do they perceive about you, and all your name, your family, all your backgrounds, your forefathers, ancestors, all these things are your offline identity. But your online identity is who you are in cyberspace. It means in cyberspace, uh, how do you reveal your identity? Your online identity is how you present yourself to others online. Means there may be restrictions, or there may be choice, uh, depending totally upon you, that how do you reveal yourself online. But yeah, so this is different to offline identity. So identity may be secured, or you can say that you may keep certain things secure or private for yourself, and it depends totally upon you that how much you share with whom online. So that is your online identity. This online identity should only reveal a limited amount of information about you. Okay, so it reveals only a limited amount of information, means the information which you desire to be revealed or to be shared with others online, because online word is a big, huge word where you do not know everyone. In fact, you know very limited amount of persons. So there may be misuse of data, your personal data and everything. So you will not like to share everything with this cyber world, so that it may not be misused. So you should take care when choosing a username or alias for your online identity. The username should not include any personal information. So an example of this is the username which you use. Okay, for registering yourself to as a certain account in certain institute. So so an example is the username. So username usually you should not choose in a manner so that it reveals something about you. In fact, it should be such that uh, it should not contain any of your personal information like your mobile number, your name, your date of birth, all these things. Instead of that, we may have some irrelevant strings of characters which do not reveal you anything about your identity. So it will be safe to use such usernames because through username and password, many of the misuse are being done. So this is an example. Next is the your data. Means there are lots of data which keeps on uh, accumulating as you use or as you progress. So any information about you can be considered to be your data. So obviously, who will be interested in your data? You will wonder that what is so special about me that why anyone will be interested in me. But in fact, there are many misuses, you can say, are, and there are many profit-making policies or strategies by your data. So you may think that your data is not of any use and is not very much important to others, but those who can make profit of out of that, for them your data is very much precious. Pictures and messages that you exchange with your family and friends online is also data. So for example, you usually share all your pictures you post on social networking websites. Those websites are seen by many people, not necessarily by your friends or friends of friends, but it may be public also, depending upon your post type. So very rarely we take care of sharing them publicly or means choosing them that how it will be shared, whether it will be shared publicly or by some specific persons only, like by our friends only or by friends of friends only. So very few people take care of this. Usually people when they post their pictures or anything or any information as their status, so they simply share it publicly. So it becomes public means it become open means it is accessible to everyone. And for example, suppose you are going to some holiday, to some foreign tour with your family, and immediately after uh, boarding on your flight, you have shared the picture containing all the family members that we are flying to this country. So this is a type of information you are giving to everyone that now we are not in our country and maybe my house or their house is locked, and for thieves it will be easier to pick or target your house. So all these are kind of uh, tips you can say, or these are the data which are revealed by some of our mistakes. uh, it is always advisable to share all those pictures and post all those status only after returning from the holiday. It will be safer, much safer. then and name, social security numbers, date and place of birth, our mother's maiden name. These are all some kind of data, important data in that. We usually do not care. We have so many accounts and we used to forget all the credentials. We have such number of accounts in different uh, places on the internet. So what happens? We usually try to keep the password same for all accounts, or sometimes the security question answers, all these things we used to keep everything same. But this is not a good strategy and also not the safer one, because in that case it will be very easy for the hackers to make misuse of all these things once they have known any of your credentials. Next is the medical, educational, financial, and employment information. All these are also data. So based on all these things like medical, educational, financial, employment, and whatever we have discussed earlier, based on all this, uh, a complete profile, whether it's the it actually complete or not, but a full profile of your can be made by different organizations, you can say, or by the cyber attackers or criminals. So once they have started maintaining your profile, depending upon all the data which are being available till the date, they will start analyzing about that how many times you go outside, how many times you go to the medical uh, for medical services, what are your education, what is your financial status, employment status, all these things. They will keep on maintaining your, they may maintain your profile to make profit of that. They may supply the large amount of data of all such peoples to different organizations to study the consumer behaviors or making the marketing strategy. All these things are being done through this. Many of the websites you have heard, you must have heard that they sell the browsing history of their customers. Okay, so you must have heard about it. So based on the browsing history, uh, profile is also maintained, that what are the interest, different interest, and based on that, certain advertisements are being sent to their accounts. Okay, so whenever we open the Amazon or Flipkart, inside or at the side of the window, we see some advertisement based on our previous browsing. So all these things are the part of that. Means authorized and unauthorized users. There may be permissions to use your browsing history, which may be asked by certain browsers or company, but there may be some unauthorized use also, which we have to take care of. So usually people do not take care of all these things, but being a cybersecurity expert or being in the field of this cybersecurity, at least we must uh, take care of all these things, and we must uh, make people aware of all these things to do, not to do some silly mistakes as we have done earlier. So these are all your data. The next question is, where is your data? So obviously, as I have already talked, that if you shared it publicly, then it will be open to everyone, whether it's authorized or unauthorized, for making profit or simply for entertainment or anything. If shared publicly, then your personal data has become profitable to hackers. But our main concern, being a cybersecurity expert, our main concern is uh, for the hackers or the one who makes profit uh, by doing some unauthorized work or illegal works. Okay, so so publicly available data is also a data of yours which is available on internet. accessible to everyone. Then suppose you go for the medical service to some hospital or some clinic, then obviously there will be some medical prescriptions, and those prescriptions may be shared with the pharmacy department. uh, Means your data has been shared with your doctor as well as with the pharmacy. So pharmacy, what the pharma companies will try to take those data so that they may understand the behavior of the consumer. That okay, this type of for example, toothpaste, if we talk about the toothpaste, then this toothpaste is regularly purchased by this customer, and similarly for others. So there may be a data processing and uh, behavior study on the basis of which certain conclusions and certain results may be drawn to further make the policy of a company, okay, of a product-based company. Then the photographs, we have already discussed. Photographs are such data which are vastly available and accessible to all when we do not care that whether I have shared it with all or with only some specific number of people. So you must have seen that usually when people share the photographs, they do not care whether I have done it publicly or with my friends only or with the friends of my friends. Okay, so usually people do not care. They simply post. So if we take an example of the WhatsApp, then what happens when we share it, when we post or when we update the status, there is no option that to whom it will be visible. Anyone who has my number in his telephone, in his phone directory, can view that status. He can know what is happening in my life, in my family, in my job, wherever related to which if I am posting or updating. Okay, so are all of you are listening, not getting bored? Please respond so that I may continue.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So let's go to the next slide. They want your money. So all those unauthorized people, why they will be interested in your data, uh, everything, how to know about your profile or maintaining your profile, simply to make out money out of that. Okay. If it will not be possible, then there will not be any interest in your data or profile. So if you have anything of value, the criminals want it. So obviously, your online credentials are valuable. You log in into your bank account to transfer money, to pay your credit card bills. Okay, many of your bills. You do all many of the online transactions. So by getting your credentials, there may be some unauthorized transfers also of money, which you will never desire to happen with you, but it happens every day. We see these kind of news every day in the news. Okay, so means we, although we advance day by day, but still these things happen because at the other end, criminals or the attackers also advance along with us. So whenever something happens for the first time, when we immediately come on the alert that this kind of attack should not be repeated, or it could be minimized, or it could be terminated as soon as possible. So the criminals are very imaginative when they are trying to trick you into giving them money. Okay, so there may be different tricks, there may be different art kind of techniques they may use. They are very imaginative in fact, uh, to draw money from you. Okay, so there are several ways, and usually people, less aware people, stuck in all such activities. They call they nowadays, for example, if we take the scenario of nowadays, means pandemic situation of COVID-19, then uh, we have heard that some of the calls are coming or messages or emails are coming which are asking for some money related to your COVID-19 status. Is they are trying to check your COVID-19 status, and on the basis of that they are charging some money, and money is so less that we sometimes become agree to pay, but later on when the credential are available to them, they can also draw some huge amount of money from your account. So these are the things which usually happen in the world. Then the data. This was about the personal data, but there are some organizational data also. The organization to which you belong. So there are two types of data in organizational data. There are traditional data and Internet of Things or big data. Okay, so Internet of Things is a new thing, and IoT, and the data there is the big data. But the traditional data has three components. In any organization, personal information is the persons which are working there. Their information is the personal information. For example, application materials, payrolls, offer letters, employee agreements, and any information used in making employment decision. All these comes under personal information, means information of their employees. Okay. So application material, payrolls, offer letters, employee agreements is all the things which are related to the employees. Okay, employee and employer agreements, all these things, employment decision, all these things are important data which comes under the personal information of any organizational data. Okay, and then next is the intellectual properties data. So under this means intellectual properties, the data which comes are patents, trademarks, new products, product plans, and trade secrets. All these are, and similar kind of data. All these are intellectual properties data of organizational data. Okay. So next is the financial data. In financial data, all the things which are financially important. So like income statement, balance sheets, and cash flow statements. So these are important data for the financial point of view. So these are some broad, these are the main broad categorization of organizational data. These are also the traditional data. But nowadays, what is happening? We have a large network of sensors, machines, all these things, means physical machines and everything connected with the internet. So this is called Internet of Things. And the data is also expanding with the introduction of cloud and all the storage capacity. All these things are increasing. So lots of data, second by second, several things per second. All this data means frequent data are being stored on cloud and other storage spaces. So this data, this huge data is called big data. So these are also organizational data, means belonging to a particular or many organizations. Then in any organization, there is a triad which is called CIA triad, which is about the data, means confidentiality, C for confidentiality, I for integrity, and A for availability. Okay. So what is CIA triad? CIA triad is a guideline for information security of an organization. Okay, so this is actually the guideline for the information security of an organization. So there are 3 points: availability, confidentiality. Sorry, we can start with the confidentiality. So confidentiality, integrity, and availability are 3 main points of this guidelines in CIA triad. So if we talk about confidentiality, then confidentiality is a kind of privacy, you can say, or is another term used for confidentiality is the privacy, and this can be means privacy can be achieved by proper authentication and encryption techniques. So there are a number of practices which is being done to achieve this, to achieve the confidentiality in the data and network of an organization. So for example, there may be uh, 2-point authentications, okay, encryption. So there may be several techniques, several practices to safeguard our data, to maintain the privacy of the data. Then integrity. Integrity is the accuracy, or we can say that to see whether the information is accurate and trustworthy or not. Okay, so means the data which we are getting, uh, we have stored in our space is accurate or not, is the trustworthy or not. Okay, so to check this, there are several techniques. Hash function calculation is also a technique to check this, whether the data which is available to us is actually the accurate data or not. So what we do in this is that we calculate the hash function value and compare this same value, means uh, creating a hash function. Okay, so if we have data, if we have a small amount of simple data, then obviously by observing it by our eyes, we can say that this, okay, this has not been changed. This is the same data. But if we have a huge data, then by seeing it, we cannot say that, okay, this is the same data which was available yesterday. So there is one technique which is called hash function calculation technique, which is used to calculate the hash function value. I think you must have studied about hash functions in our basis lecture. So there you already have the idea what a hash function is. So we calculate the hash function value and compare it with the previous value. So what happens is that when the same hash is performed on the same data, the value that is returned is always the same. Okay. So the value, hash function value which we get for a particular data will be same if the data is not changing. Okay. So even if the data is changed accidentally, means suppose we have opened the file and due to some of the mistake or some physical mistakes, means there are laptops, touchpads, keypad, these are all sensitive machines. They may be touched by any uh, of our means touch or by accidentally, so data may get changed. Okay, so to avoid this, we cannot avoid this, but we can check this. Okay, so that if some change has occurred, then we can restore our data to the previous data or previously backed up data. Okay, so backup technique is also one technique which is used to secure our data. Then authorized means this accidentally data may change by the authorized users themselves. Okay, so there are some checksums which are called checksums hashing, which are being used. Means in this, some hash function value will be calculated for a particular data, and it will be calculated again and again to keep on checking whether the data has changed or not. So if the data has changed, then the hash function value will become different. So by comparing with the previous value, we can say that the data has been changed. So there are several popular hash functions like MD5, SHA-1, SHA-256, and SHA-512. These are some popular hash functions. So we will do one exercise today based on the hash functions. So hash function, what is hash function is nothing. We simply, if we have the data, look at this diagram, this explains the function of a hash function. Okay. So if we simply have, for example, a plain text message, data of arbitrary length, then we pass it through a hash function and we get a fixed length hash value. So this is the value which we get in the form of hash value, hash function value. So if there is no change in this data, then every time when we will pass through this hash function, it will give the same result. Okay, means a particular hash function. Since there are different hash functions, so different hash functions will produce different hash function values. So if the hash function value is not changing and the data is not changing, when the same hash is performed on the same data, the value that is returned is always same. Okay, so this result will always be same. So using this, we can say whether the data has been changed or not. So we will do a simple exercise. So there is one link which is visible on this screen. You can go to this link. Okay, I'm going to share this link in chat box. Okay, so from there you can. Okay, so I'm going to share the link in chat box. Okay. So is it visible to you in the chat box? Please respond. Okay. Now go to the browser with this link. So is it visible to you? My browser is visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so here we have this hash function calculator, hash calc 2.02. Okay, hash calc 2.02. We will download it. Okay, click on the download button to start the download and then install it in your computer. Okay, all of you are getting hash calc 2.02. This is the hash function calculator. Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then download it. You have not done this exercise previously, isn't it such? You have done this exercise earlier or not? Okay. Okay, you have not done. Okay, your chat box reply is saying that you have not done this exercise earlier. So, okay, so you can do it today. It's a very simple exercise in which we will calculate the hash function value for a particular data. and then by changing that data, we will check it. We will calculate the hash function value once again to see whether the data has been changed or not by getting different value of the hash function. Okay, so if you have installed it, then please share your screen with me. Anyone among you, please share your screen so that we can see whether you have installed it successfully or not. Because I have already installed it in my PC. Anyone please share. Vivek Tiwari is sharing, saying something. Shashank Gupta, you want to say something? You have unmuted yourself.
No, sir.
Okay,
No,
then
sir.
please mute yourself if you don't want to say something. Okay. And someone please share your screen so that we can see the calculator has been installed successfully. Who will share? Swapnil? Swapnil?
हेलो
बेटा इंस्टॉल किया?
हेलो
स्वप्निल?
सर अभी नहीं किया, ऐसा यहाँ नेटवर्क प्रॉब्लम है, स्क्रीन शेयर नहीं हो पाएगी।
अच्छा, कोई जिसने किया हो, इंस्टॉल किया हो, जिसके यहाँ नेटवर्क अच्छा हो, शेयर करो स्क्रीन. It is important to see whether you are doing it or not. Otherwise, if I will do it by myself and share the screen simply, then it will not be so much fruitful to you. You can keep on installing after sharing your screen. It is not such that only after installing you share the screen. You simply share the screen and do whatever you are doing with the installation. Okay. Yes, you can do like we do. There is no difference. अभय सर शेयर नहीं कर रहे हैं स्क्रीन ये लोग.
किया भी है कि नहीं?
इसीलिए तो कह रहे हैं कि शेयर करो तभी तो पता चलेगा. नाम से बोला. प्रिया जायसवाल.
शेयरिंग इनेबल ही नहीं होगी शायद ना.
नेटवर्क सबके यहाँ नहीं होगा ये थोड़े ना, तो कुछ लोगों के यहाँ
शेयरिंग इनेबल नहीं है.
शेयरिंग इनेबल नहीं है.
नहीं है तो मैं ट्राई कर रहा हूँ, हमारा पे डिनाई कर रहा है.
अच्छा देखिए सर.
हाँ नहीं, इनेबल नहीं है. पोस्ट डिसेबल पार्टिसिपेंट स्क्रीन शेयरिंग.
अच्छा सर देख रहे हैं, हम ट्राई कर रहे हैं. हाँ सर अब हो गया. अब हो रहा है सर. Okay, right. Siddhant Gautam has shared his screen and he has successfully installed it. We can see the calculator here, hash calculator here. So first is the data format, which we will keep as file, because we will supply in the form of file, data in the form of file. Siddhant, you have stopped. Siddhant, anyone else? Please share your screen after installing. Okay, so before that, let us do one more thing. First of all, we will make a data file for which we will use the notepad available in the window. So I will share my screen for that. You can stop, Siddhant. You can stop later on.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You can start, share it once again. So, okay, I am going to share my screen. Okay, notepad. So I will share the screen. Okay. So I will open the notepad. Okay. This is the notepad. Are you all able to see? This is an untitled notepad. We can save it as our data file. So here we have already saved. So we can name it as big data. Okay, this is the big data file, and this is our big data. We will write something in this file, and then we will write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is a simple data. By seeing it once, we can say whether this has been changed or not. Okay. Are you all able to see this data file?
Yes, sir.
This is a very simple data set, data file. So we will save whatever changes we have done. Okay, so this is saved now. Now we will go to the hash function calculator. Okay, so where is that calculator? Let me search it on my desktop. Where is the icon? I'm not able to find it, so I will go through this. Okay, so this is the hash function calculator. Are you all able to see it now? Okay, so all of you are able to see this screen, this window, simple window.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we know our data file. The name of the data file is the big data. So the field which is just inside of this data format is file, and this data will be provided by browsing our system. So we will provide this big data file, okay, as our data file. Okay. Now this is the MD5 calculator, hash function calculator. Okay. So we have checked this. Okay. So now we can simply click this calculate button, and we have got a string. Okay. This is called hash function value. We will simply copy it. We have copied it, and now we will go to the notepad file. Okay, so this is another notepad file which I have named as value. Are you all able to see this blank notepad with name value?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so we
sir.
are pasting here the value which we got in the calculator. So this is the hash function value which we have got from the calculator. Okay. Now what we will do, we will open the big data file once again. Where is that file? Okay. So this is visible to all of you. The previous big data file which we had made.
Yes, sir.
We are simply making a change that accidentally we have pressed this 9. So this has become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 99. Okay. And due to autosave mode of many of the softwares, sorry, this has been saved automatically. Suppose, for example, so how to know whether this accidental change has occurred or not, or by some unauthorized, or the change has been done by some unauthorized user or not. So this file, the content of this file has been changed. So we will calculate the hash function value once again by providing the same address. Okay. So now we will calculate. So here once again we got one string. Now we will compare it with the previous one to see whether this is same or not. So this is our previous, and just below it we will paste the new value. So you can see that this function value has been changed. Okay, it has been changed or not? It is changed. It means some changes have been done in the data. So if we restore our data to the previous value, let's restore by some restoring mechanism. Although for this simple data we can do it by ourselves, but we may have restoring facility for big data or huge data, complex data, and this has been saved. Now once again we will calculate the hash function for the restore data. We'll copy this value once again and paste it into. Now you can compare the first and third string. These are same. Okay, it means our data has been restored. Okay, understood? Okay, clear to all of you? So this is a simple technique which is used to check whether data has been tampered or not. And this is called checksum hashing. Some popular hash functions are used. And so in the calculator we have just used, there are different functions available. We can check them and see the corresponding result, and we can compare with our original data or whatever version of the data we want to compare with. Okay, so this was a simple technique, an example of how the data can be or may be accidentally tampered, or you can say, or may change accidentally. So it is important to have some mechanism to restore and to analyze and then to restore if some change has occurred. So this was all about this session on essentials of cybersecurity. We will continue this in the next lecture. Okay, so you can show me your screen one by one so that I may know whether you have done this or not. Imran Ahmad. and in this way I will also take the attendance. Imran Ahmed, बेटा इमरान अहमद तुमने अनम्यूट कर रखा है अपने आप को, और मैं कुछ पूछ रहा हूँ तुम जवाब भी नहीं दे रहे हो। इमरान अहमद,
यस सर।
हाँ सुनाई दे रहा है बेटा?
यस सर।
तो तुमने किया है, इसको स्क्रीन शेयर करो।
ओके सर, करते हैं।
Okay, so Imran Ahmed has shared his screen with us. He's on mobile. So इमरान अहमद, बेटा अटेंडेंस भी लगनी है इसी से। इमरान, okay, so Imran Ahmed is absent. Because he has not shared his screen with us. So he is absent. Next, Aman Kumar Singh. Aman Kumar Singh. Akash Singh.
यस सर।
मेरा स्क्रीन शेयर करो।
सर फोन में यूज कर रहे हैं सर।
हाँ तो उसमें इंस्टॉल नहीं होता क्या?
तो फोन में एंड्रॉइड पे नहीं हुआ सर अभी।
चलो ठीक है। अटेंडेंस देखते रहना है। अभिनव यादव,
प्रेजेंट सर।
स्क्रीन शेयर करो।
सर इसमें आ रहा है यू कैन नॉट स्टार्ट स्क्रीन शेयर व्हाइल अदर्स आर शेयरिंग।
एक मिनट वेट करो। है तो ऑप्शन तो ऑन है, मल्टीपल पार्टिसिपेंट्स का। अभिनव यादव।
यस सर।
ठीक है, तो यहाँ इसमें हो पाया क्या कंप्यूटर ये मोबाइल पे?
सर कौन से ऐप को इंस्टॉल करना है?
तुम थे नहीं क्या क्लास में?
सर कल कल की क्लास मतलब सैटरडे की क्लास में एब्सेंट थे।
आज की क्लास में?
यस सर। सर अभी मतलब 2:15 पे कनेक्ट हुए थे।
2:15 के बाद मैंने लिंक दिया था, ढाई
सर
बजे
उस
बजे।
लिंक सर ये जो लिंक है सर इसमें विंडोज के लिए दिया हुआ है।
ठीक है, अभिनव यादव। ठीक है, तुम अपनी स्क्रीन बंद करो। अभिनव यादव। सीरियल नंबर पता है तुम्हें अपना? सभी लोग अपना सीरियल नंबर याद कर लो इस सीट में। अभिनव यादव नाम नहीं है तुम्हारा? ये यस, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट, आकाश सिंह। अमित यादव।
यस सर।
शेयर करो।
सर फोन है सर एंड्रॉइड।
हाँ, शेयर करो।
सर आ ही नहीं रहा है वो।
आएगा बेटा, शेयर करो।
सर नहीं आ रहा सर।
अपनी स्क्रीन शेयर करो।
सर नहीं हो रहा है सर। सर कोई और कर रहा है।
जिब्रान से बेटा, जिसने कहा गया है वो शेयर करो। क्या नाम है तुम्हारा? अमित यादव।
यस सर।
जिब्रान से बंद करो।
यस सर।
बंद करो बेटा, जब कहा जाए तब शेयर करो।
सर नेट नहीं चल रहा सर, शेयर स्क्रीन मोबाइल हैंग कर गया।
किसको? मन कुमार सिंह। मन कुमार सिंह। अशोक कुमार। मोहम्मद जिब्रान।
यस यस सर।
हाँ, हर्षित श्रीवास्तव। हर्षित श्रीवास्तव।
यस सर।
हर्षित।
यस सर। यस। लेट मी।
प्रिंस कुमार।
यस सर।
आयुषी वर्मा।
यस
शशांक गुप्ता।
यस सर।
निशांत कुमार तिवारी। नीलम यादव।
यस सर।
संतोष कुमार गौतम। संतोष कुमार गौतम, गौरव शाक्य, गौरव शाक्य, शिवम कुमार, अंकित मौर्य, सूरज कुमार गुप्ता, सूरज कुमार गुप्ता, कात्यायनी शुक्ला, ज्योति वर्मा, ज्योति वर्मा, प्रिया जायसवाल,
Yes, sir.
नितिन कुमार,
Yes, sir.
दिव्या देवी,
Yes, sir.
अभ्युदय कौशिक,
Present, sir.
अमित यादव,
Present, sir.
शिवम गोविंद राव,
Present, sir.
आकाश कुमार मिश्रा, शिव, आकाश कुमार मिश्रा, शिवम मिश्रा, मोहम्मद फैजान खान, संतोष यादव, आशुतोष सिंह, विवेक तिवारी,
Yes, sir.
स्वप्निल त्रिपाठी,
Yes, sir.
मनीष कुमार, मानसी शुक्ला,
Yes, sir.
श्रुति पांडे, श्रुति पांडे, सिद्धांत कुमार गौतम,
Yes, sir.
आनंद कुमार गौतम, अविनाश कुमार राय,
Yes, sir.
अतुल कुमार पांडे,
Yes, sir.
दीपिका राजपूत, दीपिका राजपूत, विराज सिंह, अंशिका विश्वकर्मा,
Yes, sir.
आकाश पांडे, दिवेश कुमार,
Yes, sir.
अदिति, विक्रम सिंह, जानवी सोनी, जानवी सोनी, त्वरित तिवारी, त्वरित तिवारी, अब्दुल अहाद, अनिकेत मिश्रा, गौरव सुमन, अभिषेक पाठक, अजीत विश्वकर्मा, आदर्श प्रताप राव, राहुल पांडे, ठीक है, कोई बच गया? इमरान अहमद है, okay, so that's all for today, and we will continue tomorrow in the next lecture. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.